What kind of drug testing standards do they have in CrossFit?
We use a company called Drug Free Sport, and they do our testing for us. And at the games, we test all the podium finishers. At regionals, we used to test all the podium finishers. We also test a lot of athletes out of season. So we basically have a list, like Matt Frazier. He'll get 4 or 5 random tests throughout the season. And there's a handful of other athletes. Sometimes we'll get like, hey, maybe you want to test this guy. And sometimes we'll send someone out
This
to test.
guy's looking a little big. Let's,
Yeah,
let's
so,
check on him.
So, you know, it's not a perfect protocol, but it's really good, and it's the best we can do right now. And I think we've caught plenty of people, and we catch people who cheat, and they get suspended for 4 years, generally speaking. And are we not catching people? For sure, but it's to catch everybody would be cost prohibitive. There's a lot of athletes doing this, and you don't always know who the best are. I wish we could test everyone at the games. We test some random people. Are the podium finishers clean? Yeah, I really believe it. I really believe, except for the ones we caught, like Ricky Gerard. But the ones the other guys, 2 years ago, we caught the second place guy. 3 years ago.
Wow.
That was part of the documentary, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The second place guy 3 years ago popped.
It's on Netflix. You should check it out.
He had a whole list. He popped for a whole list of things. Yeah. That was a huge deal. But so the system worked. And all these other guys, Frazier and Froning, and a lot of these guys get accused of this stuff all the time. But I'm like, those guys get tested a lot. And unless they're just perfect on, here's the other thing too. I don't think a lot of the designer drugs that are out there, like, Balco and some of these people, how they were all with the baseball teams, that type of money isn't here yet. So a lot of that stuff isn't here yet. Is it maybe that we don't know about? Potentially, but I don't think there's enough money for enough people in the sport for that to be too prevalent.
It's such an interesting sport because of the way it's designed and because of how difficult it is on so many different levels. I'm not saying that steroids they wouldn't help, but you would really need to know what you're doing because.
Well, and correct me if I'm wrong. You know way more about steroids than I do, but
how would I know anything about them?
the biggest thing for these guys would be the recovery. Right. And so the games and the test really is a test of recovery and being able to go really hard in one event and then come back 2 or 3 hours later and go really hard. Right. And so I've been told steroids help oftentimes with recovery.
It can certainly help. I think it would hurt more than it would help, though, because I think that the athletes would be more likely to tear stuff. And I just don't think it would help as much as I think if you were selective with what you took. Like if you took like EPO and there's other things that you can take that would probably work better than a steroid because you need to just be able to breathe in CrossFit.
Yeah. And you know what else I think we're seeing now too is there's a recreational level of CrossFitter too that is now using steroids for the
Instagram fame.
Yeah, to look good so they can get followed. They're not like games level athletes, but they're ripped and it helps them gain following and it helps them maybe with their sponsors. So I think we're seeing more of that where people are using drugs to
have
look good.
One games with drugs and one games without.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the drug that Gerard got busted for is it's cardarine, so it's a SARM, so it's GW5156, and that one just helps with your endurance. Like
it can
crazy.
help with cardio, yeah.
Yeah, but again, like what Mark said, like if you're all of a sudden now you have an extra like 20 reps in you, it's like, well, shit, maybe at that 15th one, that's where you pop something. But that's for CrossFit and a bunch of other like endurance sports. That's where that's what a lot of athletes tend to be getting caught with lately, is that one specific compound because it does help so much.
Yeah. Okay.
But when you describe how these athletes train, we had Rich on, and he was talking about like how vast his training is during the day, and even like their athletic history. It's all like I hear this even from like guys like Rogan, etc. People are always going to say, oh, the guys at the top are all doing drugs. I feel like that is something that's never, ever, ever going to go away. And there's no absolute possible way to convince anyone otherwise, other than just continuing to perform. So I honestly just think it's a losing battle. The people that are going to try to work like those athletes will try to work like those athletes and see the type of results they can get. And the people that think all the top athletes take drugs are always going to believe that the top athletes take drugs.
Yeah, someone like Rogan should never talk about CrossFit though, because he doesn't know what he's talking about. In
It
regard to
wasn't even specifically about CrossFit. He
Okay.
just said this like
But
in general about top
but I'm saying that
sports.
because I know in the past he has tried taking some jabs at CrossFit,
Ah.
and he doesn't understand CrossFit.
I think you should get on a show. I think it'd be great.
That'd be awesome.
He has never had a CrossFitter on his show.
So he's talked about it, and he has mentioned it before, and he has said he was like, I need to have a high level CrossFitter on. He like doesn't. I don't think he has a good understanding of it.
That's what I'm saying. He
And
has
I
no
think-
understanding of it.
And I think that
Yeah.
if he did, I think that he might appreciate it more for what it
He's
is.
never had any of the CrossFit top level athletes or any of the CrossFit subject matter experts or any of the CrossFit trainers or people like us involved. So
Yeah.
I think he just doesn't. I think he doesn't like it.
He might.
Maybe
might
his On It thing, whatever his association with On It is, to stepping on. The On It does functional training too, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So maybe he doesn't want to promote CrossFit or just even point any attention to it because of his financial obligations to On It.